Hey guys, welcome back to the Pico Reef. Just zooming on my little zoas there, and it has some macro algae growing around it, which was happening from the start. And I left it, I picked it a little bit off and just left it because oh, anything that's going to be growing is going to be taking phosphates and nitrates out of the water. So be it. And those zoas are just closed there, and I've just got in, and the snail has rocked up all this sand here. You can see his little snout there. Um, Focus there. There you go, his little snout. So I think he's just disturbed those ones. But they are just sitting there doing their thing. So I just want to do a quick update because from my last update, you'll know the tube worm was not having a very good time. It was shedding his plumage, or however you want to say it, and not looking too well overall. He then proceeded to kind of come out of his tube by quite a bit. And, well, what happened, he was coming out of his tube, I'm pointing there because that's where he was around there. Once he was doing that for a while, left it for a day, and then I was thinking, I was trying to decide what to do. In the end, I went to my local fish shop and was like, can you take this tube and blah, blah, blah. I was going to do that. Next day, I was all ready to do it. In fact, that night, I think I went to the gym, came back, and he was no more. He'd actually died. So I took him out of the tank, and he just fell out of his tube. And honestly, tube worm coming out completely is really weird. Kind of fascinating, but really weird. But that was the end of that, and I feel bad because I don't know why he hated it so much. There wasn't too much flow on him, but maybe he didn't like that much. But then again, you're recommended to have decent flow on them, and I've had good flow before, so I am not too sure. But whatever it was, he didn't get on, so I do feel bad for that. I'm gutted he's gone, but it's opened up more room at least, and all this bit here is open again. It makes the tank look bigger because you can see this sand bed here. I don't want to put anything there now because just having that openness there, I like it. It just gives a bit of negative space and just gives the feeling of making the Pico a little bit bigger, and that's what it is with me. You've got the proportions of such a small size tank. You want to make it look as big as you can, depending on how you arrange your corals to try and get as much in as possible and use the rock the best way you can. Hence why I'll have like a tower in the middle, because then I can cover that in as many corals as I want. Yet if I only had a little rock here and a rock there, then I've got all this space up here that I haven't used. So when it comes to a Pico, you need to use all the space you can. So I just seen the snail was having like a race right now. Get him going. Speedy snail. Go for it. So yeah, so it is about using the space wisely, but with also making it not too restrictable, so I can get around everywhere right now, all sides. Although if I was going to do it again, I would actually make it. I would make it, sorry, a little bit narrower, just so I can easily get around the outside. So I think when it comes to a Pico, getting the rock formation is really, really vital. Probably even more than a large aquarium. Just because with a large aquarium you do have so much space still. And even if you just dropped a load of rocks in randomly, you'd still have a lot of space. When it comes to Pico, you have to do it just right to use every inch in the most successful way. So as you can see there, my rocks go right up there. And the Xenia, at the moment the waterline is 2 centimetres, say, below the top. And the Xenia is just perfectly pulsing there, look at that. I mean, it is millimetres away from the surface like that. So to me it's absolutely perfect, because if I top this up by another centimetre, how I usually have it, then that's exactly what I wanted. I want it to come to the top, but not actually breaking the surface there. And moving on to the Xenia, as you can see, look how much it's pulsing now. It's everywhere. So it's doing really well. I hope that this is catching it not too bad. I hope the light isn't making it too white and overexposed there. But look at that. Pulsing away nicely. I have a lump there, so a little colony growing, doing well. I have the colony up the top there, which I think it's moved. I'm not even sure, but there's my finger. If I can bring my finger here, so that bit there has moved to that bit there. That probably didn't really show much. That bit there has moved up there, so it's spread like that, which is onto the peak, which is perfect. That's kind of what I wanted. And you have another bit. If I come around this side, weird. Yeah, so we have that bit up there, and so you got the 2 bits. Where's my finger again? That bit up there and that bit there, and then I've put the frag plug here, and I'm hoping it will join. Kind of, if I zoom in around there, you can see me there. I'm hoping it will join that rock. So behind the candy canes, on that kind of peak of the little mountain, if you like. I'm hoping it will join there, and then I'll frag that bit and move that frag plug again. And I want to try and get around the left side. It's just awkward to get the frag plug to stay in place. However, if I zoom in there, you can see one little hand, the strong hand, just sitting there, squeezing, pulsing, doing his thing. Not doing too bad. I have a little bit of macroalgae growing. I think I've touched on it before, but you can see you've got one there, a little bit there, decent size amount there, and one there. I actually quite like it. I've never been a fan of macroalgae in a tank with corals. Yeah, it looks more natural. I prefer it looking just full of corals, as much colour as possible. Unless it was a bit of decent red macroalgae, then I'm not a fan of it. But this at the moment, I don't think looks too bad at all. The formation of it is actually not too not too much of an eyesore. But then again, once it gets longer, we'll see how it goes. But at the moment, all it's doing is taking out nutrients from the water, which is what you want. That's what else we've got left. The anemone Maxi Mini is doing his thing, nice and stretched out, bathing in the sun or the LEDs, and loving it. Nice little pink centre there. Colours aren't too bad. Do they look quite brown on here? I mean, in real life, the middle might be a little bit brown, but the rest of it is quite pinkish. But then again, these lights have a couple of blues, 4 blues, I think. 2 lighter ones, 2 slightly darker ones, but I do eventually want to get an extra blue lamp on this, but I am skint, so that won't be happening just yet, but soon, hopefully, and the colours will pop. What else do we have? The GSP, as I said from my last video, doing well. I've got a little bit more flow there now. If you see on this left side here, you can see it. You can see a little bit more flow on it. That's always going to do well. Again, the colours don't seem to come out that well on this video, but in real life they pop pretty nicely. Even without too much of blue lights, they actually look pretty good. And so one of the main things I did was lift this rock out, and down here, if you look at my last video, I had a little blue elbow, and that was from the pump in this first chamber. That was coming up over the top, and you can just see that tube just there, and then that would come down, and it would come down the back and spit out here. Now, I felt the flow and the power of the flow through that tube, that elbow. And remember, every single angle you have and every elbow and bend takes out a lot of the power of the flow. So those elbows were enough to take out too much flow, and with the wider elbow at the bottom at the end as well, it just wasn't much flow coming out. It may have been as much water as is coming out now, but just not powerful enough. So what I did was take that off, trim the tube in, and now it comes down from there, and I took it through the back of that cave, through the porcelain's cave, and you can see it just there where my finger is, and it actually shoots out pretty well. Not really, I can't really show you with anything unless I drop something in the water, but if you're here, you can actually see it spits the water right at the front glass like this and creates that decent flow. And I think that's probably enough flow, to be honest, in this tank. I don't think I would need to add anything else, but we'll see. Once we get some LPS in here, we'll see how things are going. But if I'm going to have it at the top, I've got this one shooting here, so LPS there, frog spawn for example, it's going to have good enough flow for that. And if I have my hammer over here, with this one shooting up at the glass and coming that way, and that one coming over and to that way again, and you can see the flow, like I said, on the GSP there. It's a little bit random, it's not like the exact same flow, you can see little waves. I think that hammer there will have just enough flow for it. So yeah, that is it. I think you can just about see the porcelain crab there. It's hard to focus, but yeah, he's there. He's doing well. And that is pretty much it. I don't actually know where my hermits are at the moment. Oh wait, there's a blue leg. He's just there, and the red leg I actually haven't seen for a day or two, so I might have to investigate and see if I can find him and see what he's up to. But apart from that, things are doing well. So it's just an update there. Bye bye to the tube bomb. Hello to the new flow. I'll have a £50 voucher. I'll be spending that soon. Thanks for watching. Sorry, this has been quite a long video. And probably quite boring because there's not many updates. But I'll be doing more videos, and hopefully I'm thinking maybe doing some videos on how to keep picos and stuff that I've learned already and stuff that I've read about. Because I know when I'm learning, I love to be watching people's videos and pick up anything I can. So I will leave you with the snail doing his little dancing trick of spinning with his cool little pattern, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers for watching. Bye bye.